So you recently traveled to Bessemer. Can you tell us about your experience there and what it was like on the ground for you?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think that I actually had Mother Nature help me out a little bit because there was tornado warnings
Oh,
the morning after I got there. And so everything was shut down, but it gave people a chance to stop and really talk and reflect on what they had done to that point and really spend time. And it was funny because some of the organizers even said that they got to hear some things from the workers that they just hadn't even had time to hear because they had all been working so hard to run this campaign.
Right.
And so not only did I get to spend that real intimate time with the workers in the union hall, but then after the tornado warning was over, we went out to the warehouse and we got to see it shut down, right? And so that actually gave me the opportunity to go right up to the warehouse. The organizers were like, "Whoa, we can't go with you." I'm like, "That's all right." That's all right. So got to go up there and see that mailbox that Amazon put in there in front of the front door, the tent around it and the cameras trained on it, and then hear about the normal police presence there every single day, and the supervisors calling people at home and saying, "We've seen that you haven't voted yet. You should vote when you get to work tomorrow." I mean, why do supervisors call people at home? Usually because they're in trouble. And so it's all illegal. But Amazon assumes that they're going to wear people down, they're going to demoralize people, and they're going to quit, or they're going to fire them, or they're going to get through this election. And if they get a little slap on the hand with some ULP violations, then they don't really care. They will have kept the union out. And so that's what they're counting on. And that's why they're so adamant about so flagrantly violating the law and violating workers' rights. And so I got to see that up close and personal. But what I also got to see was that the reason that that warehouse was shut down is because the union drive was going on. So if that union drive had not been going on, do you think that they would have shut the warehouse down for some weather and paid all the workers? And they paid all the workers. So the union's already making a difference in people's lives there. And if we lock this in and they win this election tomorrow or whenever we get the final vote count, this is going to set off a chain reaction around the country and even around the world as people understand that they can fight back against what seems to be, even the greatest powers.
That's right. You actually probably just answered my next question. I was going to tell you, even when I went down there a month ago, I had to deal with Mother Nature as well. We had an ice storm. It was freezing in Alabama, freezing. We saw snow. They shut down the whole state. You know how it is down south.
You went there oh my gosh, yeah.
Yes, so it was 1 inch closed. They shut down the building and they paid the workers. They would have never did that up here. Never. No. We done worked in state of emergencies, talking 2 feet of snow plenty of times. I remember last year when I was still employed, we had a bad snowstorm and I was out there freezing in the middle of the night in the snow in the parking lot at Amazon. So they don't never close down the facility and actually pay workers. Forget about pay. They'll tell you to pick up another shift or work overtime to make up the difference, but they will never pay you if they close down the facility. So you're right. The union drive absolutely has an effect on what's going on down there. So I'm happy to see that happen. So to get into my next question, how significant is this particular union drive when it comes to essential workers right now in this country?
Well, I think that it's significant for so many reasons. I mean, first of all, this is a real David and Goliath story, right? This is happening in the South. This is breaking through all kinds of stereotypes that people have about how you can win, where you can win. And I think too, we have been too quick. The royal we have been too quick to dismiss geographical areas as impossible to break through. And what we're doing when we do that is we're absolutely abandoning those workers. We can't do that. We can't give up on people. And so what this is breaking through all of those stereotypes that we have to break out in order to understand that all workers have more in common than anything that could ever divide us. And also that when we come together, we can take on the corporate elite and the people who are trying to control everything, trying to control our politics, trying to control our democracy, our workspaces. And it's also important, this campaign in Bessemer is important to shed light on the massive inequality in this country. And the idea that Amazon would be so arrogant and disconnected from real people on the ground trying to make ends meet and be bragging about the fact that they pay $15 an hour when that's not even a living wage in Birmingham. And they don't even know it. They don't care to know it. They don't care to know what people are thinking or going through. And this is just, it's just, pulling the Band-Aid off of all of this that we have been a part of making work, this growing inequality and this massive take by the corporate elite. And people are starting this, we're exposing it, and people are starting to see it. And certainly essential workers, Amazon workers, warehouse workers are definitely essential workers. The vast majority of people in this country would not have been able to take care of their families if it were not for that work going on. And so we're seeing that too. And we're seeing and hearing about jobs that we don't normally hear about or see or think just operate somewhere off in some warehouse far, far away, which
you magically get your package.
Is. But these are real people, these are real people fighting and fighting on the shoulders of those who stood out there this summer fighting for racial justice. And that's really, what fueled this campaign too, and is a continuation of the March on Washington, the fight for jobs and justice. And it's all interconnected. And we're coming back together and understanding that the corporate elite has kept working people from having power by keeping people divided and by keeping trained and focused on their own racial bias, implicit or purposeful. And they have used this to divide us, and we are exposing all of it and really finding common cause as working people. And that's what Bessemer is showing and breaking through. And I think that is the most important piece here that we are learning and that we are getting inspiration from.
That's right. I believe it. So yes, last question for me. Tomorrow's the last day. Do you have a message for the workers of Bessemer, and do you believe that they will succeed?
So I think they have already won. Okay. I think that regardless of what the outcome of this election is, they have already won, because they have sparked, I get like choked up thinking about it, right? They have shown that they'll come out for each other. They collected over 1,000 cards when the company hired a bunch of people in a couple weeks' time. They collected 1,000 cards over a weekend and fought back and didn't let Amazon take away the narrative or the timeline. They were smarter, they were more nimble. They showed that they can fight back, and they've got everyone talking about it and talking about what they have done against all odds. And we also know that, if they don't win this election, it's because Amazon cheated. And so we just need to expose that more, and we're going to keep fighting. I am positive that they are going to win, even if this vote doesn't come through. They've built something here that is lasting, and they're going to keep going, and they're going to win. And Amazon's idea that this is going to demoralize people and people are going to walk away, I just don't think it's going to happen. But I have to tell you, I do think they're going to win this vote. And then we're on to the next fight, because it doesn't end there. Then it's about fighting for that contract, right? And that is going to be a battle. Because Amazon is not going to want to come to the table, and we're going to have to all be in that battle. And we're also going to have to be on to the next fight. We're going to be on to the organizing campaign in Staten Island in Baltimore.
That's right.
And all over the country, right? Because workers are speaking up and saying, hey, if they can do it, we can do it too.
I'm so glad you spoke to that, because that's exactly what's going to happen. Whether they're successful or not, they already won. as you mentioned,
Yeah.
they already galvanized the entire country, if not the entire world. I can tell you, I've been talking to workers all over this country, all over the world for the last several months about this union drive. And we're excited. We're excited. I've been a part of several different rallies in solidarity. I have one more coming up. As you mentioned, March 30th is our big day out here in Staten Island, the anniversary of when I was fired. But I will be joined by unions from all over New York City for the first time, to see prominent people come out, union leaders, activists, come out and join me on the grounds in front of Amazon facility I used to work for. That right there is going to be so impactful. And we want to absolutely start our campaign and union drive up there. And Sara, you're going to hopefully be a part of that one day when you have the scheduling opportunity to come join us. I would love to meet you in person on the picket line and represent the work.
100%. My most natural space. So we'll be there together.
Absolutely.